Hello. Welcome back to episode 6 of the podcast.
Oh my God.
I don't want to say so
It's already
dramatic.
episode 6?
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
realize we were on episode 6.
Yeah, isn't that exciting? We are
That's
getting there.
exciting. That means we've been doing it for a couple of months now, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we've been uploading it like once every
Ev-
2 weeks, so it's about a couple months. So go us.
Wow.
Getting,
Go up, not falling off yet.
yeah, fingers crossed we're not jinxing it.
Like, like many
Um,
of my projects that have gone unfinished.
Yeah, that's true. Many, many times. Um,
This will hopefully not be one.
yeah, exactly. We're gonna try to stay consistent, but yeah, I just want to wonder how your day slash week has been since our last podcast. Anything new?
Yeah, a couple things. I got a new flash. I think I mentioned that actually in the last
Oh yeah,
episode.
I
And
think
then
so.
I shot an elopement.
Oh yeah.
And then I second shot at a wedding this past Saturday. So there's been a little bit going on over here, a lot of editing work, and between my normal job stuff, but it was all good things. I really, really enjoyed second shooting for Alyssa Julia Photo. She was really nice to hang out with.
Oh good.
Um, it was a good experience for me because it was the first time I'd ever done a church wedding.
Oh really? Huh.
Yeah, so, it was interesting as a person who was raised Catholic to then see it as a photographer. Like, I knew kind of what to expect, but it's obviously different than like a normal mass. And then we weren't allowed to use our flash, which I was
Oh.
not anticipating. So that was an
Um.
added challenge. Luckily, like both her and I's cameras are pretty good in low light. But yeah, I pretty much just had to crank the ISO.
That's funny.
Um, yeah, it was definitely different. We weren't like sure about the etiquette either. Like she was obviously the lead, so she was like in the main aisle, but like
Hmm.
during parts of the ceremony when people were like sitting, she would walk to the back again. So because it's just like she must have felt weird about like standing like while
Yeah,
everyone
I
else was
see.
sitting in like the middle of the. I'm
Yeah.
not sure what I would have done if it was me. I feel like I probably would have done the same thing, or I would have just sat on the floor. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know. I've seen photographers like sit like in the aisle before. Um, so I don't know like what is. We didn't know what to expect because she like I think it was her first time doing a church wedding as well.
Oh, okay.
Um, but it was really interesting. How about you? What's been going on with you?
Well, not too much as regards like art goes. Um, we, um, we, me, I created my most recent marker drawing for the video watchers to look at. But this one is like different because I did it with actual marker paper. Um, because, before I was just using regular drawing paper, and people might be thinking, why would you use drawing paper? Well, it's what I had because I was not really a marker person until like a couple months ago, where I started
Facts.
doing like a marker drawings all over the place. And the reason why that I even thought about doing it was on Monday. Sean and I went to Michael's for some multiple reasons to get other stuff, not like for my stuff, for his stuff. And I just wandered into the drawing paper section as one does. And I was like, oh, marker paper. What? Who would have thought? Who
That's
would have
awesome.
thought?
I think this just goes to show, though, you don't have to wait to start something just because you don't have the right things for it.
That's true. That's true.
'Cause I really did like your other ones too. I think these ones look different. Like, I think these ones I like better, and they do look different. But like, it just depends on your preference. Like, I feel like these ones, like I said, are like a little more. They appear like more blended.
I think it could look like that because the paper is like way smoother. It's almost like slipperier, sort of. So I don't know if that actually really helps with that. It also could be my markers. Like I got a bunch of new markers, and so I have like more of a color range than I like normally do, and so I've been
Gotcha.
being able to use more colors.
Yeah,
Or
that
it
makes
could be
sense.
that I'm getting better at them. I've been trying to blend, and it's like not super easy to when you're using a medium that you're not used to. So I don't know, but I do like my other ones. Like I just did this. I finished this other one, which is like okay. It's not my favorite, but sometimes you make things and you're like, well, it's okay. It's okay, and
Yes.
we'll just deal with it. So
Yes.
that's actually kind of what today's topic is. Unintentionally rolled into the topic.
That's good though. I like when we naturally kind of land on things that we wanted to discuss anyways. Um, yeah, I have had my fair share of things that did not turn out as planned.
Exactly, I know. Yeah,
Or it looks really good in your head, and then when you start doing it, you're like, "Oh no, this is not what I had imagined."
it never always is, you start something and then who knows if it's gonna
And
actually.
sometimes it goes in the direction of greatness, and other times it does not.
Yeah.
And that's okay because it just makes you better, and you can't expect it to be amazing every time. Otherwise, how could you appreciate it when it is amazing?
I mean, I'm looking at the one I just did today, and like there's a glaring mistake on it that I tried to cover up. And then I'm just going to deal with it because I can't undo it because, as we said before, multiple times, it is marker and pen. So it ain't getting erased anytime soon. All I could do is try to cover it up. And it's like a mistake on there. And it really bums me out because it was stupid.
Which one is it? Because now I'm curious. I need to see if it's really that noticeable.
I accidentally did like a pen line here, but I meant to do it here. I meant to, like, I covered. You're not going to be able to see it like very well.
No, I can't even tell.
Anyway, I can see it, and so it's bothering
Yeah,
me, and so, well, I mean, it adds character. If you look at it closely, you can see it,
it does.
but whatever. It just shows that a human did that, I guess.
Yes.
A human made that mistake and then tried and
Ugh,
sort of most likely failed on covering it up,
it's
but
so funny, like, how hard we are on, like, ourselves for those small mistakes, and, like, other people can't even notice them. But then there's times where I feel like the whole thing is just like, have you had times where, like, the whole thing is just like, let me just throw this out? Because I
well,
have.
I can't really think of like specific examples, but I feel like that happens to me every time I draw something. It's like, okay, I hate this. Let me start over.
But then you end up liking
Yeah,
it,
and then I
right?
end up liking it. But I
I've
mean,
had times I've had times where I don't end up liking it, and no matter what I do, I cannot fix it. And I think it's just like, trials and tribulations of exposures. Um,
oh yeah, that's true. That'd be hard to.
if you mess it up in camera, you ain't. It's not. It's done. Like, yeah, there's been like some tough lessons in there.
Yeah. Have you had like times where you made things that were really good back then, and then you look at it and you're like, that's just bad. It's actually just
Yes.
bad.
Yeah.
Why did I
I
think that was
actually,
good?
yeah, a lot of my when I started to finally nail down like the actual parts of photography that like have to do with like, you know, like service, like, and what I mean by that is like the posing, like the flow of the session, like the making clients feel comfortable. I would be like so proud of myself for that aspect, but then like my editing just like wasn't up to
Mm,
par, or like my exposures weren't great. So then I would be trying to fix them and like failing. Um and like this still happens.
yeah.
Like this still happens. Like it happens to everybody. Um and the only differences between now and back then is that it happens less frequently now. Like more and more time goes in between these major fuck ups. Like it just longer periods of time go by without me having this happen. But the one I'm thinking of was like an engagement session, and the results were awful. Like, but they weren't like my best work, and I was not happy with them. The clients were happy with them. I didn't like my editing. I couldn't figure out how to edit them in a way that I liked. They were underexposed. The skin tones were just kind of orangey. I was so unhappy with it, and like the clients loved them. So I didn't like redo them. But yeah, I mean, I still look at those to this day and just be like, ugh, like,
Yeah.
but it was such a learning experience for me. Like, and I really like took something out of that. Like, I like wrote down like what could have gone better.
Mm,
And that's really an important part of this whole process, is just being self-aware and knowing when you know you need to improve. But yeah, then there's been other times where I've done creative free work that hasn't really come out the way I wanted, and it wasn't because of the exposures or it wasn't because of the editing. It was just like the picture was boring in some way or another. Like I didn't have like, sometimes it's not your fault. Like sometimes it's whoever you're working with. Like I've worked with a lot of models, like just doing like trade for print. I realized I said TFP, I think, and I didn't explain what that was.
oh.
But it's like trade for print when you like work with a model and like both of you are doing free work, but you're both getting something out of it. Like the photographer gets images for their portfolio and the model gets images for their portfolio.
Hmm.
Um, Sometimes, no matter how much you coach a person, they're just not in it. Like they're not in the
Just
place
not
to be doing a
there.
photo shoot. Yes. So I've had times where like they're just so, I think it has to do with how I recently have been reading this book. I feel like we could talk about this more later, but I found this book in like a used bookstore, and like I'm literally only like 25 pages into this book. But what I've taken from it so far is that a lot of like your photography is going to be influenced by your feelings towards your subjects.
Hmm.
So if your subject like isn't eliciting any emotion in you, like it's going to be difficult to like
Right.
do portraits of them. Like I had a model who was very expressionless, very flat, very like disconnected, and like didn't seem like she was having,
Happy to
like
be
I was
there.
trying my best. Yeah, like I was trying my best to like make the experience fun for her. And she actually told me at the end it was like the best experience she ever had with,
Mm,
like she was like, "Oh, like we should definitely do this again." But I just didn't vibe with her, I think. Like I don't know. She seemed very like she was telling me she was super excited and like was feeling good, but she was looked very sad, honestly. Like she just looked, I don't know, like she
rushing
wasn't
sad
really there.
face.
Yeah, like she like seemed like she was like really tired or something. I don't
Mm,
know. So it was just really hard. I was doing my best to like prompt, like imagine this, maybe it was this location that wasn't working or like whatever. I don't think it was like what she was wearing. I think it was just she was like maybe out of her element. And
mm,
those pictures really, I posted, I think one of them, I never, the rest of them never saw the light of day because I was like, these are not images I'm proud of. Like I would
yeah.
consider them bad art. Um,
Yeah. I mean,
but it's,
I'm glad that she seemed to enjoy herself. It's too bad that like it didn't come through on her face. Like that'd be hard
I
to,
know.
like
I think
that's
she was
sad.
very nervous. I think that definitely played into it a lot. She was very nervous and she was just really quiet too. And so I didn't really know. I was trying to like figure out what was going on with her, but sometimes the communication is like not a two-way street and then it's just like a lost cause. Uh,
Right. I mean, it'd be hard to create some when you're frustrated, and you just show that you're not frustrated too. That's like even harder. It's you have to pretend like you have to also hype them up, but you're not feeling it either. So it's
well,
just awkward.
what's interesting is like I didn't even really realize it in the moment. I just knew it wasn't working. Or I was getting frustrated and I like knew it wasn't working, but I thought it was me. Like I was doing all of my normal stuff. I was super pumped and like super like energetic and I brought all these props and stuff and like I didn't know why it wasn't working. Like I was like my images just aren't looking interesting enough.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't until later when I got home and I was going through them that I was like, she doesn't have any expression in any of them. Like just complete blank stare. Um yeah. So it's hard to know in the moment. In the moment it's so easy to blame yourself, but sometimes it really is just like
That's
um
hard. It's like a lot of different factors that come into play.
so many factors. Yeah. I feel like maybe too I like if we had planned it a little bit better, like if I had a more I feel like I had a pretty cohesive vision for it, but I think we should have put more into the outfits, put more into like the um actual like like the hair and the makeup and stuff, and I think that you know that would have reflected in the pictures because when someone feels good about themselves, they're gonna feel a lot more confident and more like able to
Yeah.
imagine themselves in like the character of that person and in that like persona. um
It has a lot to do with
Yeah, so
confidence.
now so now I do, like, more planning, and I pretty much I don't, like, insist, but, like, I pretty much like, if I'm gonna do any TFP, which I'm doing very, very limited TFP, uh, right now. If I'm gonna do any, then you have to meet me halfway because I'm doing a lot of work
Yeah.
to show up to the location, scout location, send mood board, like bring props, then spend hours editing for you to come without your hair and makeup done. No. It's now like it's now like something I say like as a prerequisite. Like you have to be willing to
Well,
like at
yeah.
least know how to do your own makeup if you don't want to pay for it. But if I'm doing something for you for free, then you need to meet me halfway. Like because it's supposed to be a collaboration. It's not supposed to just be me doing free work. It's supposed to be both of us doing free work.
That's reasonable. I
So
mean, you're doing it
I've
for
really
free.
appreciated all my models that I've worked with that have come with like hair and makeup that have, put effort into messaging me like back about like outfits, like that have been like as passionate about bringing it to life as I am.
Yeah.
Because there have been like a lot of really great people I've worked with.
Yeah.
But sometimes, yeah, it's hard to tell. Like you think someone is gonna pull through and then they don't. It can happen.
That really
Um,
sucks though. It's for you to have to do all the editing too. Like I almost forgot about that. Like you have to do the editing and the actual shooting and then all the
yeah, like it's a
location
lot of your
scouting.
time.
Like
It's like a lot of your time and like yes, the model like they have to like get their hair and makeup done and then it's their time during the photo shoot, but like when the photo shoot's over, like they don't have to do anything else. So
right.
it's like yeah.
Well, yeah,
But
I could see how that would definitely, if you know,
contribute to bad art.
yeah, exactly. Well, it really just depends, I guess. I guess for me, like, it doesn't really depend on that many other people. It's literally mostly me. Um, So if I mess up,
Probably
then
really easy to like get in your head though if it's just you and there's no one else to like talk you down.
yeah, I mean, like I'll ask people like for advice on things, like while I'm working on something. Um, ask Sean or my parents, or if I'm daring my brother, maybe I'll ask. I don't usually, since I moved over here, obviously. Not that easy to do. Not that easy to, I guess, send a picture or whatever.
Right.
But usually I'll just ask Sean, 'cause, pretty honest about feedback. So, yeah, I'll just do that.
Yeah.
And
He's been
then
really great with giving feedback about our podcast too, which is really nice because it's
we love honesty. We love honesty,
yeah.
and um, constructive criticism is welcome.
And like to listen to something for 45 minutes that you're not even like interested in as a hobby is like respectable. Like,
Anyway, I'm sorry, I totally forgot what I was talking about. The photo, the picture. So whenever, especially when I'm working with like a client specifically, that's when I get extra nervous about like making it look good, because like I always have to like have a second opinion before I even send it to the client, just to make sure, because if I'm missing something, I don't want the client to be the one that points it out. But I
that's actually
definitely,
really smart, and I honestly would argue that is how you should do things.
yeah. Yeah, because
And now that you say that, I have a wedding gallery for you to review before I send it out on Saturday.
it's fun. I like when Allie sends me, or not sends me, but shows me all of the photos, because it's just like it's just fun. I like fun. It's just fun to look at all of them. It's just, I don't
I
know.
have looked at them for so long now that I honestly don't know if they're good. Um, I'm just kidding. I actually love them, but I have looked at them for a really long time and I am starting to doubt myself. So,
It
um,
happens. It
yeah.
I is and you just go through like a roller coaster of emotions, especially when you're trying to do something for somebody else. At least like when I am doing my marker drawings or my whatever drawings or paintings, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll make it for myself, and then I end up like selling just like the print or the original. But if you're making custom work, it's like a whole new level of second guessing yourself and making sure that it looks good for everybody.
Well,
Because
that's how I know you understand my pain.
no, I understand. I understand well. And sometimes I look back on even things that when I first started doing like portraits like officially a couple years ago, like for say like custom like professionally, like the first one that I did, like I look back at it and I just like I don't think it's that good. But I remember thinking like when I made it, it was like really good. So I'm a little nervous that when I another couple years that I'm gonna look at my most recent work that I've sent to people and then be like, ooh, yikes. Which is why that I'm like really gotta make sure I look at have other people look at it, because like if I'm looking at something too closely, I can't trust myself sometimes. I mean, like I do actually think they're a big improvement, and I do think it's good, but there are times when you're in that moment where you're just like doubting your skills. You question yourself and need to break.
Yeah.
And you're gonna need
And
to.
that's on imposter syndrome. Um, I think we all have that to an extent, but I definitely feel like if you have anxious tendencies, you probably experience it like so much more intensely.
I mean,
Um,
probably. It's yeah, it can be tough, especially when you're trying to. I am like a people pleaser, and so I'm trying. I always want to like make it look as best as possible, and so then you get stressed out.
yeah, and then I try to think of ways to make it like unique or special. Um, and then there's so many paths you can go down with that.
Yeah.
like I could spend hours just like brainstorming that kind of stuff, to like make it a better experience for them so that they recommend me.
Yeah. You already want to make sure they're happy, but it's like then it's like an extra layer of, oh boy.
Stress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can be stressful.
I really don't think a lot of people realize this, and definitely didn't realize it before I became a business owner, but that is probably the hardest part. Like, obviously, the actual running of the business, the finances, the marketing, and all that is hard, but trying to like make everybody happy
Yeah.
is super hard. And I
It
feel
is.
like a lot of the efforts go unappreciated sometimes. But then sometimes people really do, and it's worth it. Like, I've had a lot of instances where I went above and beyond for somebody and they like really appreciated it. And you never know which one it's going to be. You never know
Right.
if they're going to really appreciate it or if it's something that isn't important to them at all. And I think that's why it helps to kind of assess what is important to them. But it's hard to do that if you haven't met them, you like don't know their expectations.
Right.
So there's a lot of getting to know your clients that goes into it, because some clients are going to care more about certain things than other things. And I feel like feeling out what kind of person they are and like what is important to them is one of the trickiest parts too.
Yeah. Sometimes you just never know what kind of client you're going to get. And so that's like another layer of
People
like,
surprise
yeah, people
people
surprise
surprise you.
you. And so you don't really,
They can come off one way and then do a complete 180
yeah. And so you
and then say the complete opposite.
adds to the stress.
Yeah, it's a layer of unpredictability
Exactly.
that you can't control. Like, and it's something that could harm your business, but you can't control it.
Yeah.
So it's like extra
Oh,
stressful.
well. It's like, okay, I guess this is how it is. That's fine.
Right.
I don't know. But when I think about at least when I look back at pieces that I consider bad art, and like I said, everything is so subjective. Like, it's just, everyone's going to have. I mean, is there really
Right.
anything
I have
that's
actually
bad art? I don't know. I guess, like,
true, because I've actually had
technically,
people comment on pictures that I don't like myself and say that they love them.
yeah, exactly. You're going to, it just depends on each person. You can never really, like, maybe you could say it's, like, technically bad. Like, maybe it's just like, well, the proportions are off, and so technically it's not the like, I don't know, but
Do you remember we were in like, actually I don't think I was with you.
Oh.
Never mind. It was like I was going to comment on something from a museum that I think maybe bad art could be summed up as like something that means nothing.
What?
Like something that is really forgettable. Like it doesn't say anything. Like you said, like your professor used to
Oh,
say that, like, what are you trying to say with
I
this?
I guess so, but then that would mean my marker drawings, they're bad because they don't have much of a message to them.
I mean, don't they though?
I mean, they mean that I love flowers. I like drawing flowers, and markers are relaxing.
It's so, how do you say that something doesn't say anything? Like what, like how do you look at something and say this doesn't mean anything or this doesn't say anything? I feel like you could always just make something up.
You
Like,
could always, you could, but some messages are easier to get than others. I mean, like that same professor would go ask me, so what is the message of this? So what are you trying to say? And like, he got me. I couldn't really make anything up.
I think your message for these though could just be the joy in doing something for yourself, because you're not
I
doing
mean,
these
yeah.
paintings for other people.
Yeah, I mean, they're fun, and I mean, it's like I will make prints of some of them. So it's like it's not completely, like I can't say it's 100% for me now, because now I end up just like, well, I do this thing where even if like I just want like everything to be available. Like if somebody wants it, I want to make it available. Like there's no point in, like I might as well just make it available for someone to buy, because who knows, maybe they actually like it, you know. So a lot of my
That seems
stuff,
like a smart business practice.
I mean, yeah. And I probably shouldn't do that. Maybe I should just keep things like just for me. But I end up a lot of times just being like, well, if I like it, then I might sell it, because it's like, well, I did it.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but I do really like doing them. I when I was doing the marker paper, I was like, wow, this is actually fun to do. I mean, like I like doing the other ones, but just it's more satisfying. I guess just, yeah, I'll say the marker paper is a lot more satisfying. Like when you're like actually drawing on it, it's like smooth and you're like, ooh, like I don't know, this is like a feeling. It's like ASMR, but not hearing. It's like it just feels good to like
That
tactile.
sounds really, really nice.
I don't know how to explain it, but it's just like the way it
I feel
slides
like
on the
I
paper.
know what you mean, like without you having to explain it. It's
It's
just satisfying.
yeah, it's just satisfying, and like I am, I
It's kind
guess,
of like when
yeah,
you write with a ballpoint pen versus a regular pen,
yeah, and yeah, I guess
or
that's
like a
probably
liquid
true.
gel pen instead of like a plain pen. It's like, ooh, this is smooth. Um,
I mean, that's probably true. It's probably a lot of what has to do with it. But yeah, it's just a lot of like, yeah, I guess the message of the paintings or drawings or whatever they're called. I don't know. Our marker is called draw. It's like this is like a whole thing. I'm like I've always just called everything I do drawings, unless it's my digital paintings. But is a marker? It's still a drawing, right? I'm an idiot.
it's still a drawing.
Because, like, you know, painting is like wet media, right? But drawing is like dry media. That's how I always consider it. But then I know that there are some people that don't see it that way. And they kind of just call everything paintings. Like, I remember people were saying that, like, pastel, like, using pastels, like like oil pastels and chalk pastels are paintings, but it's a dry media. So I don't consider those paintings. But I guess it's paintings.
That's
I
that's
don't
really
know.
interesting. I've never thought of that before. It's not something I would think of. It sounds like it's a gray area.
It's kind of weird. And so I don't really know. But I
I
kind of
wonder what
always,
the like actual correct like thing is.
yeah, I've literally just thought, okay, it's dry media. It's drawings,
Have you
but
ever I wonder what would come up if we looked it up. We would probably get conflicting things,
Yeah, I
conflicting
probably, I was
opinions.
thinking about looking it up later because I just kept on calling it drawings. Then I realized maybe it's not called drawings, and or maybe it is, and I'm just stupid in having this conversation, and I'm just second guessing
No, I
myself.
think it's a valid question. I actually struggle with that in photography, like knowing what's what. Like I feel like there is a lot of gray areas in photography too. Um, like the difference between creative photography and documentary, and like whether or not you classify yourself as a documentary photographer or like an editorial photographer. Like the styles of stuff has gotten so blurred over the years. I feel like no one really understands them anymore, and people just throw around these terms without really knowing the truth behind them.
Right. I guess
I
they
feel
all are
like
just
things have just gotten
labels.
so like blah. Like the labels, I feel like we've gotten away from labels.
But
Um,
I mean, I still think we have a lot of labels, though. Like, I mean, just tell people, like, I mean, you say like documentary photographer or whatever, but like I don't think a lot of people outside of like the photography space would really like know those labels. I think it's kind of like labels that photographers are putting on themselves, but I think like your average client probably doesn't really know what that means. So you probably
I
don't even have to
agree.
add any of those those labels because
Yeah, I agree. And I debate over what to call myself all the time. And at the end of the day, it probably doesn't matter because most clients don't know. And it's really just me trying to figure out what kind of photographer I am. It's like me having an identity crisis. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I've actually only ever had one couple tell me that they were looking for. Actually, no, that's not true. Two couples told me they were looking for documentary photos. But I think they might think they know what that means, and I think maybe to an extent they do, but they don't know the like black and white definition of it.
well, I
Like,
think that they probably have an idea because they are doing a lot of research because they're planning a wedding.
yes,
But
yeah.
most people aren't gonna like know.
And some people don't even have a preference.
Yeah, exactly.
Some people just don't even know what is best for them, and they just want you to deal with it.
Yeah, and that's fair. I mean,
And that's fine because you have other things to worry about. Like, if that is not a priority to you, that is okay. But I feel like it is kind of nice when clients come to me and they're looking for that because then I can say like, "Oh yeah, I can do that for you."
oh yeah, step into my
And
office.
I know it's going to be a good match from the start because I know they're going to like what I send them because they know what it is.
That's a good point.
Um, Sometimes people don't know and they're expecting something different. When you
Right.
send them what it is, they're like, "What? This is not like what I wanted." And it's because, you didn't have that conversation of that with them of what kind of pictures do you like? What pictures stand out to you? Like what do you want?
It is
Um,
frustrating. That is
and a
frustrating.
lot of clients don't even know they need to have that conversation with you.
Well, that
Um,
that literally reminds me of like a couple years ago or a year or two ago. There was this one client I had. It was one of my more like I think it was a good result, but he was like, "Oh, it's not what I was really looking for, but you're a talented artist, but it wasn't really what I was looking for." And that was after I already gave it to him and everything. And I'm like, "Okay, well, I I feel like I was clear with what you're gonna get." Like, what do you mean? What else are you looking for,
Sometimes, yeah,
sir?
sometimes it isn't your fault. Like sometimes you do everything to explain what kind of work you have, and sometimes it's them having not done their research. Like, for example, like I try to like make sure that my couples have seen my work or that my um, individuals who are getting portrait sessions, they've seen my work so they know what they're gonna get.
Yeah,
Um, but there are people who inquire without even looking at your portfolio.
yeah,
And there's only so much you can do. You can't force them to go through and actually look at your pictures. You can explain what they are, but you can't like force them to understand. And if they don't do that research, that's on them.
right. Yeah. Well, of course, then they make a review of those
I
things, and
know,
then you're
it's
like,
so hard.
"Well, okay, I worked hard on that, and I thought it was good." But and when I asked, said that it was good, but
That's
okay.
what's difficult. Like you said, it's so subjective. That's what's difficult about it. It's not like when you go to um, a cafe and you order a drink. It's like, oh, you made my drink wrong. Like this isn't what I ordered. That you would like refund, right? And then they still probably wouldn't leave you a bad review. But it's so different when you're talking about art because art comes out different every time. It's unique. It's like you can't really like control it. You can't like have it be exactly like how you can't, yeah. And you can't replicate things exactly. So if you're showing your photographer like I want this picture, like you can get close, but it's not going to be that picture.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you're a
Um
different person, whoever shot that
yeah,
picture.
you're a
Like you're,
different person. You look different. Your venue or your location is different. The time of the day is different.
Yeah.
The equipment that I have versus the equipment they had is different. Like there are so many factors, like you can't expect that it's going to be exactly what you ordered. Um,
I
and you just
want
have to value that like uniqueness of it.
I want to do you have a specific thing that you look back and you're like it's a certain picture or something that you're like, oof,
I was trying
that's
to think.
bad. Like, ooh, that's
I was trying to think, and
I do
it's
not
funny
like that.
because I'm looking back, like I'm just looking at my Instagram right now. I if I could go through my hard drives right now, I would have a better example because a lot of the stuff that I think is really bad is never going to see the light of day. And there is plenty of it. There is so much of it that it would be hard to pick. Um, I have to go back, and it would probably take me an hour to find an example that would be worth showing.
That's funny.
Um,
I think that we should have a separate video one of these days where I go through my old
can
college
we? Oh my God.
portfolio.
Okay, so it's decided we're gonna do this as a part 2 next week. So everyone that's listening now, we're gonna need you to tune in next week to the YouTube version where we will show the bad art.
Or we
We'll
could
pick it apart and laugh at ourselves.
we could also just
Um,
make another I guess you could make like a side video. We could cut together a video so people could watch it.
can we do like a judging thing where we judge each other's work? That would be funny. It would be really funny. Like
It's
we could pick
like a
I could
critique.
pick like a picture I know is bad, but then I pick like a picture that I think is really good and like ask you your honest opinion on it and like get your like constructive criticism. Like I think we should give each other constructive criticism on works that we think are good
Okay,
too.
I think that it should be like still do old art because like we both haven't seen them in a while. You know, like stuff that like because if I see your new stuff, like I've seen all your new stuff, but I haven't seen like your old stuff in a while. So I think it'd be funnier if it was like your old stuff or in my old stuff, and we'll pick
Okay.
one
So we'll
one
do
of
2 videos. This is going to be a 3-part series.
because there are things from my college portfolio that is just like it's not good, not good. But there was also some reasons for that too because like when I was in college, once again, if we haven't met me, hi, I'm pretty lazy. So whenever we had like projects, like even like I said before, even in art class, I mean I still ended up having good grades in art, okay? But there were some projects that your girl half-assed and definitely could have done better. I'll just say that.
Can't wait. Can't wait to see this video. This is
Critiques.
random, but you look tan. Have you been in the sun? I just am noticing it right now that you look more tan.
So funny. I was thinking I don't look tan. I thought I was looking in the picture and I was like, I look pale right now to me. So
You look more tan than last week
that's
to me.
so weird. See, folks, everyone has a different perspective in life, and so you can't trust
Everything is
yourself.
subjective.
Yeah, you can't trust yourself. Moral of the story.
I'm also really distracted by a lot of bugs that are flying around me right now. I don't know why there are so many bugs in this room all of a sudden. I'm guessing it's because it was like 90 degrees today, and
Wow.
I don't know why, but every time it gets hot and humid, there are more bugs in my apartment.
Yeah, we caught a spider yesterday. It was pretty big and I was really grossed out. Sorry, to answer your tanning question, which I know that the audience is waiting for. Um, see, I did go.
You really need to know.
So, I actually have not. I was supposed to be. I am like trying to do it more. But a couple weeks ago, for work, we did like painting outside. But that was a couple weeks ago. And so I think I got a little more tan from that. But as far as like last week and this week goes, even though it's been really nice weather-wise, most days I get home late, and so I can't really enjoy the sun or go outside that much. And but I'm gonna try when like the pool opens to go outside more. And usually once the pool opens, then I start getting like pretty tan.
Yeah. But I did get to go to the beach
I'm very jealous of
yesterday.
you. I want to go to the beach.
It was really nice. There aren't that many nice beaches in Massachusetts, but I found one.
That's nice.
And I went there a couple weeks ago too, actually, because we had a random like 70-degree day a couple weeks ago. But today was really hot. I didn't go today. I went yesterday, and it was still pretty hot. It was 80s. But it was
That's nice.
great for me. And I was just reading my photography book on the beach. Got through a whopping 25 pages.
That's pretty good.
I used to be such a fast reader, and I'm such a slow reader now. And it's not like through any fault of my own. It's just that I read the same sentence like 10 times before I understand it.
I definitely
And
am there.
also, I lose attention or I lose interest really quickly. So I have to do things in like small spurts now.
I get
But
kind of
it's really important to me that I finish this book. So I need you to hold me accountable
okay. Well,
because
fine.
it's a book about photography.
Well, next podcast, I will ask you, and we'll get everyone in on it. Please
And
comment.
then,
Please comment.
yeah,
Hey, Allie, have you finished your book yet?
yeah, we can also do an episode where I talk about like important things I learned from the book. That will be down the line because it will take me a while to finish it, I'm sure.
Well, we'll see you back here in
Um,
about 2 years or so, and then
yeah.
we'll find out.
But that would be a good reason for our listeners to be invested in me reading this book so that I could summarize it for them.
Well, good. Well, you haven't even said what the book was. What is the?
It's called The Creative Photographer.
Oh, maybe you did say
Um,
it.
what?
Maybe you did say it, but I can't remember if you did or if you told me
I don't
before.
think I actually said it. I have posted pictures of it on my story, but I haven't
Oh,
said it on this episode, I don't think. Um, and it's written by a photographer. It's an old book. I like found it, like I said, in like a used bookstore.
it's a good idea. Like I
Um,
said.
I know, that was your idea. And I just so happened to go to the beach, and then as I'm driving to the beach, I saw a used bookstore. And
Cute.
your words rang through my head. And I spent about an hour in that bookstore because it was piled with books, and you couldn't even walk through some of the aisles because there was books piled like as tall as me,
That's
blocking a lot of the
cool.
aisles. Like it's basically like a bookstore, but like if it was like a hoarder bookstore. Like
That's funny.
it's literally just like piles of stuff.
That's great.
And it took me a while to find something worth buying.
Well, it's awesome that you found
And
something like that. And like, even though it's old, a lot of
oh
those
yeah, it's
concepts
called
are still relevant.
I think so too. I think the part that won't be relevant is the part where he talks about developing. Um, like I'll probably just skip that part
Probably just
because
skip
I
that
don't
part.
shoot
Skip that.
film.
It's not
Um,
really welcome. I'm sorry, sir.
yeah. But I am probably gonna butcher his name. It's Feininger? Feininger?
I don't know.
He was a photographer for Life magazine.
Oh, I thought you meant like he did his whole life.
Oh no, like for
Like
Life
he took it
magazine. So
seriously. He did it for life.
the book looks like this.
Okay, that last name looks familiar. I think you're probably close to what that pronunciation is.
Yeah, I'm Googling him right now, actually, which I haven't done before. And he did, yeah. He worked for Life magazine. He was Paris-born, raised in Germany, and was an American photographer and writer on photographic technique.
Cool. Would you call that
Anyway,
a photojournalist, sort of? Well, not really. I guess he's not.
yeah,
Well, okay.
I think so. I think some of his work is in the book, I think. I haven't gotten super far into it. He did, let me see if I can find more of his pictures here. Yeah, it's sort of like pictures of landscapes, of people, of like events, like portraits of different people in their careers. Like he liked doing like career portraits, I guess.
Oh,
Well,
interesting.
I imagine they probably did like features on
Oh, right.
people, and then he probably had to do like creative portraits of them. Like there's this one picture of um a fencer that he did a portrait of.
Oh, that's a cool picture.
Yeah, I really like that one. That one is in the book. Um yeah, it's cool stuff.
That's
Very
awesome.
old, but very cool.
I like that.
Some of it I'm sure will be outdated, but it will be cool to read the parts that are like more theory, I guess.
Yeah. Well,
I'm taking your advice on educating myself.
there you go.
Yeah.
Well, I think the funny way to end this podcast is that because you're talking about the beach, maybe you can share some funny beach memories that we've had because if there's a place that we've been to, it's the beach. Um,
Didn't we all have matching swimsuits at one point from
I
that?
literally was going to say that. I was going to say that.
There was a place, it's probably still there, um, that we got those bathing suits from. Do you remember where we got them from? It's the store we always stopped at when we realized we forgot something before we were at our rental in Rhode Island.
Benny's.
Benny's, yes. We would always stop there because we always would have something that we forgot.
But
Whether it be like like I remember one time buying a cooler, another
oh yeah, I
time it
remember the
was like
cooler.
bathing suits. That was like our go-to to like stock
That's
up on like
true.
beach
That's true.
necessities before our family vacation.
Well,
I'm trying to think of, oh, do you remember? Oh, this is funny. This is really funny. I don't
okay.
know how I got this notion in my head, but somehow little me had this notion that we could make waves happen.
Oh yeah. Okay, this is classic.
You remember?
This is a classic. I still do this just for nostalgia.
Me too. I didn't know that. I didn't know you still did it. I still do it. Um, I really believed that we could make the waves bigger by stomping our feet on the ground
Yep.
into the earth.
Yep.
And I had like a whole theory for it. I was like, it has to do with the moon. Like, I don't know
Yeah,
where
I
I got
remember
this
you said
idea.
that. Yeah.
I seriously don't know where it came from. It's so like,
Well, because the
it's
moon
so,
controls the tides, right?
yeah, but I don't know how it tied in with like the stomping of the
Yeah,
feet.
that's
I
not
just
that's
know,
irrelevant, but
I feel like someone told it to me or I read it somewhere. It was like a word of mouth, like, I don't know. It was hearsay. But maybe it wasn't. I don't know. But anyway, um, we really thought it was working though. We
well,
were we were there all in a line, me, you, and Rochelle. We were in a line, stomping as hard as we could in the water. We were like, because we really wanted to boogie board. Like we wanted some good waves.
well, it's true because, and then like, 'cause you know how they come in lulls, right? You have a lot of lulls in between like waves, and so in
Yeah.
between all these like lulls, like let's summon some more waves. Let's go,
And
and
then
then
we would be like confirmed that it worked because the lull was
because
over.
like naturally the wave is gonna happen again.
Yeah, like, oh, we did it, guys.
Everyone, job well done. Um,
I guess it was a way, if nothing else, it was a way to pass the time in between the
yeah, exactly.
lulls.
It was just like, yeah, what else are you gonna do? Just stand there.
Yeah.
Literally, just stand there and stomp, I guess. But yeah, that was so much fun. And then sometimes like a way to make the waves bigger was to just crouch down, and we were like, play a game where just like you can't get up. Like okay, the rule is like you cannot get above, you can't stand. And if
Yeah.
you stand, then you lose the game.
Yep.
That's how to
I
make the
remember that
waves bigger.
actually.
I think that was a game brought to you by Josh. I'm pretty sure Josh. That was a Josh game.
I didn't remember that it was him, but that makes sense. Whose idea was it to play Avalanche in your basement?
It was probably Josh or Isaac. One of
That's about
them.
right.
I can't really remember.
So
Uh,
to explain, there were
usually
like
Josh.
these. Your basement was like renovated, but there were like benches, sort of like,
Mm-hmm.
in front of the TV in the basement, and then above the benches there was like small crawl spaces.
So they're
Um,
well, it's like they're not actual benches. It's just like built in. They're like couches built
yeah,
in.
they're like seats
Seats,
or couches
and
built
then it's a
in.
crawl space. There's a crawl space above the couch. So there's like the ground, then you have the couch, then you have the crawl space. And it's like diagonal, you can go diagonal down them. So it's like steps almost, it looks like.
Yes, yes. So we used to pile up we'd take all the couch cushions off and pile them up in like a angled slope.
Yeah.
And then what would we do? Would we ride one single couch cushion down, or what did we use? I don't even remember.
I can't remember either. But I also think it has to do, like, I think we also had this idea from, like, the Princess Diaries, because there's that one scene in the second movie where they're riding.
Oh my god. That's how we thought of it. I know that's how we thought of it. I know it. I know it in my bones. I wanted to do that so badly when we
I
saw
know,
that
it
movie. I
looks
was
like-
so jealous.
It looks like so much
Um,
fun.
I know that we tried that instantly, but then it became a thing. Like we would
Yeah.
do that
Yeah.
every time that I came
Yeah,
over.
we always called it Avalanche, though. So, like, yeah, I'm not sure. But we did that for
Did
a
it-
long
I feel like-
time. I'm not sure what came first, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know.
But we used to pile, like, a bunch of stuff, like, on the couches. And we were responsible. We put, like, cushioning on the floor.
Yeah. We always made sure that it was safe.
Because I was a tile basement, by the way.
Yeah.
So
There were probably some close calls. But.
there were some close calls. But yeah, you know, I think we slid down. I don't know. I think either we slid down just like freestyle, or we used the pillow, or both. I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Me neither. I wish I could remember.
But we done it
It'll
so
come to me
many,
later.
so many times, though. Honestly, so many times.
A lot. It was like
Constantly.
one of our favorite things
Yeah, it
to
was like
do.
constantly just rolling, and it would be at like bad times during the day. Like it'd be 1 a.m.
Yes.
Do you know how many times
Your
our parents
mom-
had to come
Your
in?
mom would. You guys are making a racket. We're trying to sleep.
Because we were just
It's
all
like 2 in the morning.
sequestered downstairs.
We're like hopped up on sugar that we stole from the gas station. Well, not stole.
we didn't
but
steal from the gas.
sugar that we bought illegally from the gas station.
Bought
And by illegally,
illegally?
by illegally, I mean we would hide it from our parents because it was illegal in the house.
Oh, okay. I'm like, we weren't that rebel.
No, we weren't that crazy. We did actually pay for everything. We never stole anything, but there was lots of times we snuck to the gas station to get snacks in secret.
Yeah,
then-
exactly. Yeah.
We would have them late at night and keep our parents up.
It probably wasn't even. I bet it wasn't even that secret. I bet like my parents knew.
They probably knew.
Because we lived right next to a gas station.
Yeah.
And we were there all the time, so they probably knew it was gonna happen. Like,
Yeah.
it's natural. But yeah, we were just like sequestered to the basement like all the time. Like, we're just okay, basement, go, stay in the basement, like, which is fine.
It was like so we wouldn't bother everyone. No, we just like we played video games down there. It was our own
Yeah.
little space.
Yeah, it still is. Still pop in place. Just ask Josh or Isaac. They're still spending all the time there, so that much has not changed.
No shade. I was just gonna say no shade.
No shade. Can't blame them.
It's a really peaceful place. Can't blame them.
Hey, I mean, it's nice. It's a nice basement. It's small, but it's nice. Oh my god. But anyway, sorry. You get all of these stories and more on future episodes of the podcast. So
Yeah, thanks for being here, guys.
Yeah, thanks for
it was a great episode tonight. We appreciate you. And looking forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Stay tuned. Bye.